I'm Noura Sarraj, and I'm the Head of Social Impact at Webershandwick, Abu Dhabi. Our client, which was a pediatric hospital based in Washington, D.C., had commissioned our services for over maybe 6 or 7 years, and we wanted to do something that was completely outside the box. And so when 2016 was declared as the UAE Year of Reading, we decided to create a product which was a bilingual children's book. Well, it was really important for us to find a way to demonstrate that relationship between the hospital and their stakeholders over here in the UAE. So we wanted this product and the launch and the entire communications program to showcase the relationship that the UAE had with the US and vice versa. The other thing was that the two nations obviously had a shared vision for improving healthcare for children around the world, and so we wanted to use this kind of as a catalyst for that objective. And then ultimately we wanted to make a big impact in children's lives, and the book was essentially a form of literature therapy, and from a healthcare perspective we wanted the book to provide a means for the children to have reduced anxiety and to kind of help them through that pain process or pain management process while they were recovering from their illness. Well, some members of the UAE leadership had been briefed about the product, and after they had learned about what we were doing, they decided to be part of it, and so they became officially involved. And so one of our main successes was the fact that the UAE Minister for Foreign Affairs, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, was part of our media launch, and he actually read the book to children at the launch. So it was a phenomenal success for us, the fact that there was that UAE linkage and it was from a royal member of the family, so that was fantastic for us. The second success was the fact that the people that we worked with on this project, so the author and the illustrator and even the publisher, either did it for free or at 0% profit margin, just because of the sole purpose of this book and what it was going to do to help children during the recovery process. So when it came to measurement, we looked at things from a qualitative point of view. So obviously we looked beyond the EAV value. We looked at the infusion of our key messages throughout the coverage. We looked at the buzz it created online, and then we also looked at the tone of voice that was being reported. In addition, there were some quantitative factors that we looked at beyond PR. So what was the domino effect following the launch? So for example, one of the royal members of the family, who herself has a reading initiative, was so taken by the book that she decided to also participate, and she asked for copies of the book to be distributed throughout different reading rooms, throughout I think it was like 15 reading rooms across UAE-based hospitals, so that other children in those other hospitals could also take advantage of the book and benefit themselves. So in addition to that, we're also extremely pleased that a non-profit organization in the UAE that is also backed by one of the royal members of the family has plans to distribute 50 books in Jordan to Syrian refugee camps. Seeing as that the product was a book, book publishing is not our area of expertise, at least not from a daily point of view. So as a communications agency, we had to think and act very fast. The second thing was, obviously, like I said, the client was based in the US, so we did have to deal with a 9-hour time difference and sometimes 8-hour time difference depending on the season. And then lastly, it was just the fact that the leadership had been informed and involved in the project. It was extremely important for us to do our due diligence from a protocol point of view and make sure that the UAE was clearly and appropriately reflected and represented. So to overcome these kind of challenges, obviously, we had to think and act fast. In addition, because we were working with a renowned author and a junior illustrator, we worked very closely with the author based on her experience with other UAE children's books. And then in terms of the time difference, which is kind of standard for communication professionals over here, but my team and I went over and beyond, making sure that the client team in the US was properly informed about the entire project from A to Z, but also that we worked diligently with the protocol office of His Highness to make sure that they had everything that they needed within their own deadlines as well. There were so many highlights to choose from, but if I had to pick three, I think I would say the fact that His Highness Sheikh Abdullah wanted to be part of this launch, and he himself read the book out loud to children at a reading session at the launch in front of our Tier 1 media was an amazing feat for us. And then the social side of things is the smiles on the children's faces. I mean, they were beaming, absolutely beaming when they were reading this book alongside their parents at the hospital where we had the launch in the presence of His Highness. I think it was so successful because the product itself speaks volumes, no pun intended. The second thing was the fact, obviously, that the leadership backed the entire project and was involved in the pictures and the footage that we captured. And I think that from a product point of view, that we made sure that the plot line and the characters were extremely relatable to the culture over here for the region. And so it was something that resonated basically with the audiences regardless of where they were. So besides publishing a book, the communications element had to see us work diligently to ensure that we were doing everything right from A to Z. With the UAE leadership being involved, so we needed to ensure that our communications planning was in line with security protocol, but also cultural protocol. So everything from ensuring that the key messages were right from the get-go, that the Arabization of all our documents as well, but also ensuring that the press release reflected the right way of depicting people's names and titles, etc. The other thing was, again, because leadership was involved, that there was a limited space with regards to how many media we could have present there with us. And so what we needed to ensure was that while we did have a hand-selected number of journalists there with us, that we needed to communicate very well and effectively with other journalists that were not necessarily on ground at the launch. So we needed to have some strict follow-ups. We needed to ensure that they received the exact same press kit that those that were on ground also received. And I think it was like within 36 hours, or within a few hours of the launch, we had 36 different clippings across different outlets. So I think the news kind of spoke for itself.